Come on, let's give God praise. Give God praise. Amen. We thank God for his goodness and his mercy towards us for another exciting installment of Word of Wisdom. Amen. Bible study here at New Jerusalem Center of Deliverance Covenant Kingdom Ministries International, better known as CKMI, where presiding bishop is Bishop Charles W. Harris Jr. And we thank God for him and his vision. We thank God for God himself and for the word that he has given us to study the book of Revelations and to go into the things to come. Amen. We know about the history. We know about the things that have happened. We know about the things that God has done. And it's good to know what God has done so that if we need him to do it again, we know that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever, and that he can do it again. Amen. I believe Ty Tribbett sung a song that if he did it before, he can do it again. And so we thank God for the history to know that where we came from. But we also thank God for the revelation of what is to come. And when you know what God has done, and when you know what God is going to do, it will behoove you to live righteously and make it when Jesus cracks the sky the first time. I'm going to say this. You do not want to be here during the tribulation period. Although there will be some that are saved, there will be some that make it, there will be some, amen, that will eventually have paradise in eternity with God. But what they're going to go through, compared to now, all you have to die to is sin. All you have to die to now is your sinful will and nature. But what's coming, you will literally have to die for God. All right? And so let us continue our teaching. Tonight we'll be in Revelation chapter 9. And we do thank God for all of you, amen, that view us online. We thank God for your prayers and your support. And we appreciate you, amen. And you are also the reason why I enjoy teaching, amen. And I love to share, amen, what God has given me, amen, for the enlightenment and empowerment of his people. All right. Revelations chapter 9. Revelations chapter 9. I'll be reading from, amen, the, what is this? The New Living Translation. Lumber King James, but I'm going to read tonight from the New Living Translation. All right. Now, last week, we began to talk about the seven angels that have their seven trumpets and that begin to blow. And when you have a trumpet is to, amen, sound an alarm or make an announcement. And so the angels begin to blow their trumpets. And we realized last week that the earth suffered. Amen. And I'm not talking about what is going to happen being an isolated incident, what God has in store, the punishment of the unrighteous. And even this world will have to suffer for the sin committed in it. It's going to be on a global scale. When we read about all the destruction and all that's happened, it's not going to be in just one region. It will be globally. When we read about how 1/3 of the trees will be destroyed, that was 1/3 of the trees in the world. When we talked about 1/3 of the bodies of water being turned to blood, we're talking about 1/3 of the water in the world. And so if this world is made up of 70%, 75% water, that means 25% of the water in the world will be contaminated with blood. When we talk about the land that will be destroyed, that's globally. That's globally. No more famine in Africa or famine in third world countries. The famine will be in the USA. The desolation and destruction will not just be seen when you watch the news in Benghazi in Iraq, when it looks like they just bombed and destroyed everything. This will look like South Jersey. It will look like that in North Jersey. This thing will be on a global scale, all right? And so now, last week in chapter 8, the first three angels sounded their trumpets, okay? And we know disaster began to unfold. The fourth angel came and said, the first three have sounded. but there are 3 more to come. And now we're getting ready to read about the 3 that's coming. All right? Starting with the 5th angel. We're going to read about the 5th angel. Revelation chapter 9. We're going to begin at the first verse. Then the 5th angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen to the earth from the sky. And he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. When he opened it, smoke poured out as though from a huge furnace, and the sunlight and air turned dark from the smoke. Now remember, in chapter 8, one of the angels blew their trumpet, and a part of the moon and a part of the sun was darkened. Now this 5th angel has the key to the bottomless pit, and when he opens it, black smoke comes out like a chimney to a furnace, or if you had a grill and you open the grill and how the smoke billows out. When he opens this bottomless pit, like a shaft, like a chimney, like a pipe, black smoke is going to come out and fill the air and darken it some more. Okay? It says in verse 3, then locusts, after this dark black smoke comes out, then locusts come from the smoke and descend on the earth. So as the smoke goes up and fills the air and darkens the air, out of this black smoke, locusts are going to come on the earth. Now, we have had in history locust invasions. Farmers down through the years have had locust invasion. I'm not talking about these regular locusts that we have. I'm not talking about the little 4 to 6 inch locusts that come and devour crops. Let me read what I'm talking about. Verse 3, then locusts came from the smoke and descended on the earth, and they were given power. They were given power to sting like scorpions. Grasshoppers don't have stingers, but these aren't, locusts, I'm sorry. Locusts don't have stingers, but these aren't your ordinary locusts. These locusts have been given power to sting like scorpions. And they were told not to harm the grass or plants or trees. Now, that's what locusts attack. Locusts attack vegetation. But these locusts were given instruction not to attack the vegetation, but only attack the people. Attack who? People. People who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. Now remember, I told you earlier that there are some that are going to, live through the tribulation period as martyrs for Christ. And they're going to be the ones that have the seal of God. All right? The number of God is 7. Just like the number of man is 6. And they say the Antichrist will have 666 in his forehead. Or the saints will have 777. Or the number of God, which is 7. Okay? Not a number that they can see. It's not like they're going to look in the mirror and see, but the number or the seal of God will be seen by others. Just because you wear a cross around your neck don't mean you're godly. Rappers, it was a phase at one time a few years ago to wear double crosses, diamond and encrusted crosses, and they weren't rapping about Jesus. So just because you wear a cross around your neck does not make you holy. But the seal of God that he will give those that martyr through or that suffer for him during the tribulation will be a seal that those that look upon you will see. All right? So you won't be able to hide because you won't be able to see it, but others will. Okay? The locusts were given instructions not to sting the people of God, but to sting all those that don't have his mark. Okay? Now watch this. They were told, verse 5, not to kill them, but to torture them for 5 months with pain like the pain of a scorpion sting. Folks are going to suffer, and it's given a specific time. You're going to suffer for 5 months with the sting of a scorpion. Now, I read and saw where a scorpion sting, the effect varies based on the type of scorpion. But there's a scorpion, I believe in Mexico, the bark scorpion, that has a more potent venom, that if it stings you, it's going to cause paralysis. It attacks your neurological system, your muscle movement, your heart's a muscle. Paralysis can set in, and you know if it paralyzes your muscle and your heart's a muscle, you can have a heart attack and die. Some scorpion venom is so potent that if you are not treated within 4 minutes, you will die. It causes swelling, it causes pain. Some describe it as a bite. Scorpions don't bite, they sting. But some report that the sting is so sharp that it feels like a bite, and it heat and it's hot where you get stung and swelling, and it causes some to go into convulsion. It causes some to vomit and all that. It just messes with your nervous system. Some experience dizziness, blindness. It messes you up. So imagine feeling that for 5 months. You're not going to die, but you will be in torment and pain for 5 months. Watch this. Verse 6 says, in those days, people will seek death, but will not find it. It's going to be so bad that folks are going to want to die and can't. Watch this. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. They will long to die, but death won't appease them. They will want to die, shoot themselves, jump in front of a bus, jump off a bridge. You're going to feel the pain. The bus going to run you over, but you still be alive. That's something, y'all. It's going to be so bad, folks going to jump off of buildings and stuff. You're going to hit the ground. You're going to be broken up, but you're still going to be alive. You're going to feel the pain. They'll say, just shoot me. They'll shoot you. You're going to get the effects of the gunshot, but you'll still be alive to feel that pain. Death, the Bible says, instead of death coming for you, when you want to die, death going to flee and run the other way. That's how bad. So you got to ask yourself, what sin is so pleasurable? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some pleasurable sins. But tell me, what sin is so pleasurable? The Bible said you did run well, but who hindered you that you did not obey the truth? What are we doing today that is so pleasurable that it's worth going through this hell for? Are we in hell now? No, we're not. Because if you want to die now, you will die and then die again. Hell would be wanting to die and can't, but you feel all the pain. Watch this. Verse 7. The locust. Now I'm going to describe the locust. The locust look like. What is that? A metaphor? Look like. Now, remind you, this is John the Revelator, which was exiled on the Isle of Patmos. They did not have the technology that we have now. So when God shows him the revelation of the future, thousands of years in advance, what he saw, he had to compare to what he knew. They didn't have the internet, cell phones. They didn't have jet planes and cars and all that like we have now. What they had back then was what? Animals. They had animals and insects, and animals and stuff been around for millions of years. Humans only been around for 6,000 years. So he related things to what he knew. There are some planes that look like